welcome back. I'm Morgan Mielnicki, Marketing Director for Sentinel Media Company. I'm so delighted to be joined by two incredible registered dietitians today. You guys can turn around.
Oh, we're not even here.
Okay, I'm so happy to be joined by two incredible dietitians today. I couldn't get the intro because I was giggling per usual. But thank you guys so much for joining me today and coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's dive right in. Hayley, do you want to talk a little bit about how you got started in the dietitian journey?
Yeah. I mean, as my sister, you know that my love for cooking started in like upper elementary, lower middle school. And it was a fight for me not to be watching Rachel Ray all the time on Food Network. And from there, I knew that I wanted to do something with food, but always knew I wanted a family and to work more of like the standard 9 to 5. So I went to culinary school at Johnson & Wales in Providence, Rhode Island, and got my bachelor's of science in culinary nutrition. From there, I also still did not know what I wanted to do. And I always make the plug that our mom knows best in some ways, shapes, or forms, and pushed me to become a dietitian to get the credentialing. So I then went and did my dietetic internship at Syracuse University to become a registered dietitian. And throughout that, you know, the dietetic internship is something that all dietitians have to do. Emily also experienced that. That's how we bonded again with each other after graduating high school. And in your dietetic internship, it's 1,200 hours of supervised practice with dietitians. So I was actually placed for a portion of that at Baldwinsville School District. So I knew from that rotation that working in school nutrition was what I wanted to do when I eventually graduated.
Awesome. And then talk a little bit about, I guess, where you are now, what your day-to-day looks like.
Yeah. So I started working for Oneida Herkimer Madison BOCES in July of 2019 as the school dietitian, where my responsibilities were menu planning and recipe development. I worked with students who had allergies and needed special diets. And then I also would run like our social media pages for Farm to School Mohawk Valley. From there, COVID hit 8 months later, and I was really thrown into all of the different responsibilities that came with running a successful school nutrition program. So in August of 2023, I was promoted to the position of food service director through BOCES, and now I run all of the school meal programs for Utica City School District.
Which I love. What part of your job brings you the most joy?
Serving students and knowing that the food that we produce and serve to students is the best part of their day. I mean, I remember in school, elementary, middle, and high, going to lunch was the most exciting part of anyone's day because you didn't have to be in the classroom. And of course, everyone loves eating. And just knowing that the time and the effort, whether you're staying late or going in early, that all of that effort goes towards helping kids as opposed to like a larger corporation or someone who doesn't really actually know where the finished product is happening. Like you can see it when you're going through the lunch lines of all the smiling faces of the students.
How has your view of health evolved from when you first started studying nutrition to now?
I feel like with everyone, you can always learn as you go, and nutrition is just that. I mean, we can look at the early 90s and what was, you know, the fad diet of the time to now, but overall, consistently throughout that time and practicing dietetics, it's really just been that all foods in moderation are key. That fun foods, you know, donuts and ice cream and birthday cake are always going to be things that are in everyone's lives, and those can definitely fit into a nutrient-dense diet.
What's one food that people are afraid of that they shouldn't be? Or none of them?
This is a tough one. I feel like my 3 things that I tell a lot of my clientele, I do nutrition counseling on the side, and there's 3 things that are really a bit difficult as a dietitian to try and fit into that balanced diet, and those are more lifestyle things like smoking, drinking alcohol, and soda. Those are pretty much my top 3 that, you know, anything else, tell me to build a balanced plate with fried chicken or with French fries or whatever it may be, and we will find a way to make it a balanced meal. Those are like kind of my 3 negotiables just because they don't really add anything nutrient-wise to your life.
Got it. Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. Emily, you want to talk a little bit about how you got into the field of nutrition and dietetics?
Similar to Hayley, we both started off in undergrad programs. I ended up going to the Rochester Institute of Technology, which is in Rochester, New York. Of course, all of my friends are now engineers and I'm a dietitian. So that was very funny, where all my friends are like building spaceships and like building tech. And I'm like,
you're building diets
to eat your fiber today. So I really loved my experience there. My mom is a pharmacist and my grandfather was a pharmaceutical sales rep. So my career has come very full circle. After my time at RIT, I went through the die-cast match and ended up getting placed at the Medical University of South Carolina, which is very clinical. So even though me and Hayley both have the RD credential, our jobs are very, very different, and you can do so much with your RD. So USC, I focus a lot on critical care. So I spend a lot of time in ICUs, working with different subsets of patients with chronic diseases. And then I happened to move back to the Utica area, got a job at St. Elizabeth's, which is no longer there anymore, and was the ICU dietitian there. So shortly after that, COVID hit. So I was doing a lot of really customized nutrition care, which I feel like is kind of a misconception about our career, that, hey, we just kind of write meal plans, which, yes, we are able to do that, but there is a lot beyond what we do within that role. I feel like I've lived a million lives in my career already. So I've done everything from ICU to sports nutrition with the New York Mets. And then over the past 3 years, I've shifted to the industry side of things. So instead of recommending products to patients one-on-one, I now work with hospitals, nursing homes, and dialysis centers contracting medical grade products to their facilities so that the dietitians in those locations can prescribe them and recommend them to patients to help recover from whatever ailments they're going through. So yeah, you can kind of do anything and everything as a dietitian, which is great. You can have kind of your strengths and strong suits. I think me and Hayley have always played off of each other. Like if I'm cooking chicken, I'm like, hey, is this okay? And then she's like, hey,
help me with this tube feed.
If this nutrient is really low, what should I do? So it's kind of really bonded our friendship, I would say, over the past few years to kind of like traject both avenues of nutrition. So,
and there's such different careers, which is so crazy. Like totally different lifestyle. You travel a lot. You're running in circles. You already visited 2 other hospitals today, and are going to another one later. Hayley's in multiple different schools all day long. So it really is cool that like it intermingles at the end of the day, but really so different.
Yeah.
I guess as you're very much into your career now. What's something that you would have told yourself or given yourself advice earlier on in your career?
Yeah, I would just say like not earlier on in my career, but just like follow your passion wherever that takes you. And also don't ever discredit like any person or conversation that you have. I feel like that even though our nutrition circle is so vast, it is very small. So you do get to see a lot of familiarity, run into new people in different positions. So there's so many times now where my preceptors or my former coworkers are now my current clients and customers. And it kind of, you just never know. So that's one thing I would just advise is like brand your network as far as you can. And it just creates more opportunity for yourself. So.
Nutrition and health and dietetics in general is just such like an aggressive and overwhelming topic for a lot of women.
Yeah.
What is some advice that you'd give to women that are trying to like stay on track or just avoid that like pressure, I guess, of the industry?
Yeah, I would say one, go to credible sources. So there is a lot of like misinformation out there about nutrition. Even though like technology is our friend, you need to look at technology as a tool. So if you see your latest celebrity promoting a certain brand or eating style, there may be some credibility to that, but not all of it. So I would advise people to look at maybe like the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Say if you have a specific chronic condition, there's numerous websites per condition that give recommendations. Or, if you're in a local area like this, like reaching out to a dietitian who can give you the proper resources versus like a nutrition coach or a chiropractor or someone who maybe may not have all of the bandwidth to support what is going on with you, because nutrition can be very complex, even though it can also be very simple. So
going into that, I think this is really important, and I know Hayley and I chat about this a lot, but the difference between a nutritionist, a dietitian, all these different credentials, what does that look like? Either whoever wants to take it.
Yeah.
So as both of us have mentioned, we did our undergraduate degrees, a dietetic internship, and then we didn't say it, but we both had to also take a very inclusive and laborsome exam to receive the RDN credentials, so registered dietitian nutritionist. So I always like to say that all dietitians are nutritionists, but all nutritionists are not dietitians. So pretty much anyone.
And I think that's really important to remember, especially in today's day and age.
Yeah.
Yes, because
absolutely.
anyone can call themselves a nutritionist online. I see the wording over the category, the label of holistic nutritionist thrown out there a lot. And there are tons of, I'm sure that they have some credible information in them, but online courses to become a nutritionist or a holistic nutritionist, but they are not, board certified, credentialed individuals in the area and expertise of nutrition and dietetics.
Right. Yeah.
So really anyone, like I said, you could have an undergraduate degree, you could really just sign up for an online class and you could call yourself a nutritionist. Honestly, even if you didn't even take the class, you could call yourself a nutritionist.
To do that.
Morgan's like side gig.
Morgan was like a media director and a nutritionist.
Yeah.
But to use that credential, RDN, registered dietitian nutritionist, you do have to take all those steps. So the 4-year undergrad, the dietetic internship, passing the exam, and now
a master's degree.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say is dietetics, we are a healthcare provider. So we do also have to follow a code of ethics. We have to do continuing education. We have to stay up to date on new medications, new recommendations, new policies, which change often because there's new research coming out, new knowledge coming out. And so I feel like that, again, the general public may not be aware of how much education we go through. And part of that is just doing things like this where you're exposing that, making it more widespread information for people to say, hey, this is what a dietitian does. It's so encompassing, but this is all the, hundreds of different ways that you were able to help you and your families within your own community. So
how do you guys stay grounded with this overwhelming lifestyle?
I think there's two parts to that, career-wise, and then also, our perception, on social media or when we are taking in content ourselves, and really just falling back on the root, principles that we know to be true. We've studied nutrition for 7+ years now, more than that. I mean, we've been dietitians for 6, and then of course you have your undergraduate degree and our master's and all of that. So for probably close to a decade. And I think that just rooting myself in those core principles that we have learned, fruits and vegetables are always going to be good for us, eating enough fiber, eating, a protein-filled diet, healthy fats, and just knowing those constants really helps me to stay focused amongst all of the, misinformation. But we're also humans. I mean, we also get influenced by influencers online, and I'm like, oh, should I be taking AG1? But then I kind of, reroute my brain to be like, no, I can get fiber and nutrients from
vegetables.
whole fruits and vegetables. And then career-wise, I think it's just taking that step back to focus on different forms of self-care. So knowing that I'm not going to fill anyone else's cup, specifically kids in my program, if I'm not making sure that I'm taking care of myself. So I make sure that one thing that I've been doing lately is making sure that either my breakfast is packed or I know what I'm having for breakfast the next morning, because it helps me start off my day on the right foot. I've never been successful if I've been hangry. So that has, not many people do. So that has been one thing that has really helped me to set up my day to really be focused and super present as I'm at work.
I know we all love travel and movement and food. We have very similar interests. How do you blend your personal passions with that professional lifestyle?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm really fortunate with my current sales role because I cover a very large territory. I cover 8 states within the Northeast, but it's really nice because I am able to combine my professional schedule with my personal schedule. Say for example, I had a conference last week on Friday in Albany, and I have meetings in the central New York area this week. So I was able to stay home for the weekend and see my friends and family, which is always amazing to be here with you guys. But yeah, I think just, if you put in the effort to kind of schedule your personal life and schedule pockets of time, it does allow you to thrive personally and professionally. I think in sales, it's very easy to get burnt out, and my company is really great that they do support us having that type of flexibility to kind of make our own schedule as long as we're getting the job done at the end of the day. So, which for me, I always do. So,
And Hayley, tell us a little bit about how you blend your personal passions with professional.
Yeah, I think it's also helpful to surround yourself with people who have similar interests and similar goals in mind. So being a dietitian, I'm surrounded by other dietitians, which is wonderful. So even when I'm at work, I can talk to my other dietitians I work with to be like, hey, we should go for a lunchtime walk. And like that is one of my goals, is making sure that I consistently get movement throughout the day. So I make sure that I do that to keep myself moving throughout the day. But then I also, carry some of my professional side into my personal life as well, making sure that myself and my family are eating really nutrient-dense foods. We focus on eating fruits and vegetables. I cook a lot at home and invite all of my friends to come over and cook.
I benefit.
I'm like, what are you making tomorrow? Please let me know.
Sourdough pizzas.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So that's how I kind
6:30, be there.
Yeah.
be there, be square.
Arugula salad.
For fiber.
Yes.
And then, so I try to cross over as much as I can to stay consistent with those goals when I'm at work, but also when I'm at home.
I love that you guys are both all about inspiring and uplifting women, just because I know you so well. Who are some women that inspire you or have empowered you, uplifted you, that you want to shout out or explain why?
I'd probably just have to say my mom. Like, my mom has always supported me in any endeavor that I've ever done. So that's always been a point of interest for me. And I feel like she kind of like sparked my interest in health and wellness. Just like with her background working as a pharmacist, that was a really nice segue. And it is funny being a dietitian that now I've kind of come full circle within my own family of being on the sales side of things now. So I find that like footing and just kind of grounding within your own family network always sets you up for success if they're supporting you. So,
yeah, I think I have the cliche answer too of like, obviously my mom, and then also like my sisters. I mean, we were just talking before that everywhere that I go, it's, Morgan, you're Morgan's sister. And the constant phone calls from you, asking me to do different things and like pushing me outside of my comfort zone, whether that's, new ideas for, business ventures, or whether it's going to events with you.
And sometimes it's like another one.
Yes, while I do get, a little annoyed at some points, but it's all very encouraging at the end of the day. And then I also, like, more specifically in the dietitian space, I do have to say my boss, Kate, she started as a dietitian over 15 years ago and now is the shared director of food services for BOCES, overseeing a program that has over 20,000 students in enrollment, feeding close to 10,000 students, for lunch a day. And she is just a wonderful, preceptor and motivator in my job. I really look up to her and use a lot of her influence to guide me in my director role, even if it's like actual verbiage. Like, what would you say if you were in this
the words that I can copy and paste?
If you were in this situation, and she's so helpful in that way that it just really helps me as like a young director to navigate really difficult situations.
Shout out Kate.
She'll be
Jake.
listening.
We can't leave
Jake is also very helpful.
With that, Hayley, can you give me a piece of advice that you'd give to someone, whether they're in dietetic school or going to school for nutrition right now, a piece of advice that you'd give them?
Yeah, I mean, the cliche answer that I feel like everyone always gives is ask questions, but then also not being afraid to figure out what you don't want to do. Because when I was in my undergraduate degree, I did a rotation that wasn't even within school. I just went and shadowed dietitians at Citron. And I hope that some of them are listening because they really helped me and guided me to where I am today, because I realized that working in long-term care was not what I wanted to do. And so then when I went into my internship, I already knew that. And I was kind of like, okay, check that box off the list. Maybe working with the older population isn't what I want to do. So let's flip it. And maybe I want to work with the younger population. And that really guided me towards school nutrition and working with children. So definitely take advantage of every opportunity, even if you walk in and say, this is not what I want to do. Another example on my internship was that I never wanted to work in a hospital. I always hated clinical. I was like, never
Or
want to
open a restaurant.
yeah, never wanted to step foot into a hospital. I spent 9 weeks at Krause with their dietitians, and I left there honestly contemplating like having a job in a hospital. And that was just wild of, previous me to think about. But
And now Emily visits
and
3 a day.
Yeah. So that really just opened my eyes to what other opportunities are out there.
Yeah.
That's such good information, and like very important to remember. I have a lot of seniors that call me from Siena that are graduating, and what advice would I give them? And it's marketing for me is there's a huge aspect of marketing. Like you can go into photography, videography, editing, websites. Like there's so many different types of marketing. Be really great at one. And that's what I didn't do that. And I wish that I was really great at one or focus my energy on one. So with that, I want to go into a little bit of a lightning round, which I've been doing with all of my guests. So they're one or a short answer, and I made yours all food or dietitian
Good.
related. Not everyone gets this.
Great.
Okay, starting off. What's one vegetable that you would eat for the rest of your life?
Do you have one?
I mean, I have like an arugula salad like almost every other day. So probably arugula. Also, it's so versatile. You can put it on pizzas, put it on salads, put it on burgers. You can put arugula on literally anything. So I would have to say that as my vegetable.
Oh, I think mine would be bell peppers, just because even if I don't want to eat any other vegetable, I know that I will love like sweet bell peppers. And the same thing, you can like toss them in a stir fry or like put them into fajitas or just like literally eat them raw. But those have always been a.
You guys didn't have to give an explanation.
Sorry, that's
We're like,
you'll
eat
only
your fiber.
understand if you're a dietitian because people say eat this vegetable and then they're like, how? So we always have to come prepared with examples.
It's lightning round. One word.
This is free nutrition counseling.
Yes. Usually we charge you a X amount of dollars for this advice. So
A food trend you secretly love, like a trending, like avocado toast.
It's kind of dated, but I love chicken and waffles. Sweet and savory.
I'm trying to think. I'm really not good at lightning
Okay, a food
rounds.
trend you secretly hate.
I'm gonna have to say the ketogenic diet. And I know
Okay.
that's kind of a hot take, but as a clinical dietitian, there is a clinical metric of being in actual ketosis, which most people are not. Most people are just eating a high protein diet if they're on keto. So certain cautions to take with that. There's certain side effects I can take with that. But if you contact a dietitian in the area, they'd be happy to help you out.
You know, this is a lightning round, but I understand the
Thank
explanation
you.
for that one.
In healthcare, we have to provide the small detailed fine print. So.
link with the details.
Yeah, we can cut that part out if you want. Just kidding.
Favorite roadside snack or favorite road trip snack?
Oh gosh, that's half my
yours is-
meals. Yeah.
Yours is watermelon Sour Patch Kids.
Not recently. I've been making healthier choices.
Okay, they used to be.
I know. I really am so happy that
She's like
there's
pink peach rings.
that there's Chick-fil-A on the thruway now because you can just get the grilled chicken nuggets.
Okay.
That's a really nice roadside snack. Or the Fairlife protein shakes, the vanilla
Oh,
ones.
that's a good
Those
one.
are
Yeah.
really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, I have to do, it's more of lightning, but like literally the nutrition counseling in me and like any clients or whoever has like worked with me before, we always preach protein fiber combinations. I love like popcorn and like a jerky stick or like,
Chomps.
Chomp stick.
At Chomps.
Yeah, at Chomps. Please sponsor us. I buy them every week.
If you're like at Fairlife, thank you.
Yeah, but then like any like fruit or veggie if I can find any, but
Yeah.
A healthy swap you genuinely love.
Greek yogurt for like pretty much anything.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I love whole grains, so like swapping out like a standard white bread for like a whole grain bread. I'm Italian, so I'm like, please don't ever take my bread away from me. So, yeah, that'd be one of my favorite swaps. So,
Nutrition myth that drives you crazy.
that carbs are bad for you.
I'm gonna have to retweet the same thing.
Dream celebrity client to prep a meal for.
Oh, this is tough. I feel like I would go for Bobby Flay because, yeah, I really enjoy his content and everything.
And you've met him.
And I've met him multiple times.
Yes. In New York City. Yeah, we walked by him at Chelsea Market in New York City. I would probably have to say like Half Baked Harvest.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. I'm not the best chef though, so maybe I could bake her something and that would probably go a little bit better for me. So
Favorite post-workout snack?
Pretty cliche, but chocolate milk, just because it's a good, again, nutrition counseling for everyone. It's a good protein and carbohydrate replenishment.
Yeah.
All in one, and it tastes good.
Yeah. I usually have my own product, Liquicell, after most workouts, to be honest with you. But if I was doing something a little bit more like whole food based, I love like a little charcuterie board after, like some little cheeses and meats.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, like
Getting
a little, I'll
fancy.
just have them cut up and then you can build them and I don't know, go sit outside or something, enjoy the sun. This time of year at least, so.
Smooth peanut butter or crunchy?
Smooth.
At the same time.
Sweet breakfast or savory?
Sweet.
I've been into savory recently.
Cold or reheated meals?
I always do cold. I'm just too lazy to eat anything
I
else.
feel like I have to reheat it.
She's like, food safety.
Yeah, please.
Fruit on a salad, love it or hate it?
Love it.
Love it. Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza?
Uh,
Yeah, it's good.
I'm not gonna knock it, but I won't reach for it. If
Okay,
it's there,
okay.
I'll eat it.
That's fine.
But
That's
I won't
fine.
go out of my way for it.
Almond milk or oat milk, or I guess whole milk?
Can I just say normal milk?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we need to plug the dairy
Yes.
industry. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was like, your almond and oat milk don't do anything for you.
No, it's just sugar. That's it. I hate to break it to
Here,
you.
want me to do it again?
Could you say like soy?
Almond milk. Okay, almond, soy, oat,
No, yeah, do that.
half, dairy, whole.
Actually, do that. That's so funny.
What else am I missing? There's like
Pretty much
8
it.
different
Soy,
types.
rice.
Chocolate?
Yeah, chocolate. Yeah, chocolate would be mine.
Strawberry?
Strawberry milk. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely regular dairy.
Yeah, regular dairy.
Morning workouts or evening?
Morning.
Morning.
Run outside or run on the treadmill?
Ooh, outside.
Outside.
Why are you guys answering them so
I
fast?
don't know. You said lightning round. We're improving.
Oh my goodness, but you're like
Dietitians take feedback very quickly and we apply it.
solo or group workouts.
What?
Solo or group workouts?
Oh, I'm solo.
Oh, I like a group workout. Yeah.
Okay, I think that I got through all my lightning round questions. Thank you guys for that was like speedy quick. I wasn't really
Yeah, you said hurry up. Let's
Oh my
go.
gosh, I know you cruised. But thank you guys so much for joining me. That will be the end, but I'd love to tell the audience how they can find you or follow you. So, Hayley?
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok. Actually, if you want more info on a day in the life as a K-12 food service director, everything is at Health by Hayl, Hayl. And then on Facebook, just my normal name. And you can email me or anything through those social media sites.
Perfect.
Yeah. I am not really on Instagram, so you can find me on LinkedIn, which is just my first name, Emily, and my last name, DeVenezia. And then I also have a TikTok series called A Day in the Life as a Sales Dietitian. So showing a little bit of the geographic regions I cover, a bit more about our products and how they can help your patients.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. It was so fun, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for having us.